Welcome back to Gollum. So, in between parts, we now unlocked some more lore, so we're going to read that. You know, again, I paid for this bloody lore compendium, so I'm going to use it, goddammit.
I swear, DLC just gets weirder with each generation on what things companies think should be paid DLC.
The Cult of Sauron in Barad-dûr. Sauron has established in Barad-dûr a cult similar to the one in Numenor, where he once served as an advisor to the evil kings. It is a cult of sorcerers and necromancers venerating the evil power beyond the great Lord of Darkness. The cult serves Sauron's purpose remarkably well because the subjects fear and loathe it in its highest representatives, the Nazgul. Tolkien sometimes hints at his evil antagonists, dark arts, and practices, but he rarely describes them in detail. All subjects who are not strictly following the cult's directive end up as sacrifices. Well, shit. In the
reasons, I guess.
In the Tower of Light.
Yeah. We've seen something like that also in the Shadow duology.
Water in Barad-dûr. Although the land of Mordor is dry and parched, the Dark Lord needs water for many purposes, especially his machines. His servants too, at least orcs and beasts, need to drink, as Frodo observes. Moreover, Sauron's dark powers can influence natural resources like the water flowing out of the Morgul Vale. So we designed a special liquid in Barad-dûr named Mormak, brewed in the sewers and then led down to feed the orc larvae, boroks, and other beasts to make them stronger and apt to the Dark Lord's evil influence. So basically they decided to add in their own elements to fill in for things that Tolkien didn't elaborate on.
That's a nice detail. Problem is, you will only know about this by checking this lore.
Oh, you'd only, to be fair, Jova, it mentions...
Spiders in Mordor. The Mordor spiders are the spawn of the Shelob, who, according to Tolkien, had many children. In our story, some of them were used for experiments in Barad-dûr, and then left to themselves in abandoned mining tunnels. Even I know that the story doesn't really explore that, but trust us, it's there. Service gate now. Escaping the Dark Tower? Of course, Sauron was well aware of Gollum's existence and intentions. Having worn the One Ring, Gollum was too important to just let him slip away. Sauron hoped that if Gollum left Mordor, he would lead him straight to the ring. Therefore, he let him go. At least that is what Frodo later suspects.
Yeah, Gandalf mentions that in the movie, remember? If he's not sure if he was, if he escaped or he was left
Not only do we have to read the lore to get that, Jova, we have to pay for fucking stuff. And no, I'm not getting over that.
Again, to be fair, when it comes to the whole water thing, Jova, the only thing that the lore tells us is that it's the original thing, do not steal. When it comes to, what it is about, we get told in-game when we get to the sewers.
Not for nothing, but this is legit a wikia when you get down to it. And the thing about wikias, they tend to be very, very easy to access for no extra cost online.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of this information can be read in the Lord of the Rings wikia or Tolkien wikia, whatever it's called.
I'm pretty sure that there are probably already installments from the wikia for this game specifically too, so...
Yeah.
Look, normally, I would think, this is fine, some extra lore, even though it explains stuff that couldn't actually be explained in the game itself. But the fact that you have to pay for it is... Look, even for a low amount, I'm sorry, having to pay for, basic explanations like that is stupid, and will always be stupid.
Let's see if she lets us leave now. Yes.
Oh, you made a shrine to Shelob?
Yeah, that's that's actually... Go on, Theo.
It's the corpse of a spider, and that reminds me of him of that, Jova.
But yeah, Joe, I agree, and that's actually one of the main reasons why I'm so against the whole, tie-in novels thing, because I paid for the game, but I also have to pay for this novel to get the full story,
Like, when you get down to it, Pedro, this actually is kind of an exemplification of the problem with, abuse of supplementary material. Like, to be fair...
Like Balan Wonderworld, where literally the entire story is in the bloody novel.
Do not remind me, but yes, Balan Wonderworld literally has a novel where, I'm sorry, no. That novel should have been included with the game, but to keep the focus onto this one, supplementary material is not automatically a bad thing. Sometimes, there'll be new stuff that writers think of that, oh, they didn't think to include in the main game, or, oh, maybe it's legit just expansive stuff. But when supplementary material is something, pretty integral to actually understanding the plot, and you force the audience to pay more for it, that's where we have a problem.
Yeah, remember...
Hey,
Grashnik.
The astonishing thing is, this isn't even supplementary material. This is stuff that we should... What was that random flame patch
Remember,
texture?
Jova, we're still close to Mount Doom. Those are small bits of ash that float around. We already seen a couple of other occasions in some cutscenes where they float around in in front of a camera.
It's just that the way it was rendered made it look
Again,
more
it
like
has
it was
already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks so badly rendered, but okay, back to my point about the supplementary material thing. This ain't... What?
I have
Jova.
No, seriously. Let's see what happens now. Hold on. Okay, so what did I do different this time? Aside from, I guess, maybe being technically... I did the animation where he stretches out the arm, and I pressed X like I did the first time.
I guess you technically jumped on from a higher point of the vine,
but
it's still flimsy detection.
Yeah, because trust me, too, my experience in games like this tells me that shouldn't matter, to be honest with you. Go on.
If I understand correctly, Gollum here is using, Grashnak as bait for Shelob.
He's
that's
valuing his options for the time being.
For the time being, yeah. Carry on your point with the supplementary material.
It's like supplementary material is one thing, but imagine charging the basic data log, ergo the thing that's supposed to help a player understand stuff that they may not have initially gotten within the game itself.
Yeah.
And charging extra for that. That is player hostile to a level that I didn't think was possible. I mean, granted, maybe there have been other times where that's been done, but
remember,
never was something as mainstream as...
Seriously, I am so tired of not being able to grab things that I should theoretically be able to grab in this game.
Yeah, literally, the only reason you can't grab that is just, well, they didn't put a rope line in there. Even though Gollum should arguably be able to grasp easy on that. But
Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, to cap off my point here, what were they thinking? Were they thinking when they charged for...
They were thinking, Jova. They were thinking with dollar signs in their eyes.
Let's make sure it gets
Good Lord,
remember, to add to your point, Jova, remember, the only way in 13.2 that you'll understand how the hell snow is a lassie again is by reading a tie-in novel, because the games never actually explain that.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb there too. But congrats, this might actually be worse than the 13 trilogy in that regard.
That's the thing. That's one of the big tragedies of the 13 trilogy, because the 13 trilogy has some really cool lore, but most of said lore is in the supplementary material. The games, it takes until Lightning Returns for them to finally elaborate on some aspects of the lore. Finally.
And while Lightning Returns has its own bucket load.
Yeah, and that game has its own fucking that game is its own can of worms, as we know. So.
But hey, one cool meme I got from SSMB is that when you put the titles together, you can say that Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 to GameStop.
Why are you standing around? Bring it back!
Desert Man stumbles right into the orcs'.
So, I'm guessing, so Gresham knows we're here, right?
No, he's trying to find his way out. Remember, again, the two were given to each other, appointed to find themselves each other, but because they were separated, they essentially are a bit on their own. And again, Gollum is already thinking about going away on his own turf. The only reason he stumbled into Grashnak is because he followed the bird, which thinks he gives him an opportunity. But Grashnak is just improvising on his own.
Yeah.
I love it. We technically have an escort mission for Gollum, of all people.
It's one of the big... actually, I'll wait till this cutscene is over.
It's like he was saying, he's EA.
Easy, easy.
But yeah, no, I get you, I get you, Joe, because I myself have complained about that plenty of times before. Anyway, again, that's one of the big things that really made Final Fantasy 16 such a breath of fresh air for me. Oh my God! Not since Final Fantasy 12 have we had a Final Fantasy game where the whole story is in the base game. I don't have to worry about tie-in novels. I don't have to worry about DLCs. I can just buy the game and the whole story is there. How fucking novel is that? Like.
Yeah, imagine. But I mean, okay, they must have really had a lot of faith that this game was going to sell so well and be so beloved that people would be running for the hills to pay for DLC of lore. Like, okay, you have to wonder, how desperate really are people? Like, honestly, my first instinct would be to think that, well, if people are faced with this much frustration, they might just refund the game, which, from what I understand, a lot of people did.
Hundreds of oxes, and they're coming our way. Not smart to carry the red tongues.
So yeah, leave Greshnig in the Shelob's lair. I'm guessing Gollum's going to do to Greshnig what he tried to do to Frodo.
Indeed.
Oh, what a sad betrayal between these two people.
Yeah, and that's the other problem. Like Joe already called, yeah, you probably already know where this is going and how Grashnig is going to end up. Thing is, again, the game didn't really do a good job establishing this character. So when it finally happens, the only reaction I can muster is a simple,
Still a stench in
to be honest with you.
Nasty, yes. Not a nice path, not at all. That's why orcs never use it. But if Desert Man
What could
knows
possibly
ways
go
because they know so
wrong?
much. No. Don't touch the walls.
So was there like seriously just no other way out of this area? You have to go through Shelob's lair?
Yes, Jova. Again, that's a point that's reinforced also in the books. The idea is that the Mordor on this point has been reinforced and patrolled so much that the only realistic passage that no one loves to patrol is Kiritungul, specifically because that's Shadow's territory. Otherwise, they would do that as well.
Which, to be fair, Shelob is not exactly what we would call neighborly, so
We has.
probably a good point.
That was also why I was questioning the original plan of the Fellowship in universe about trying to enter through the Black Gate, because that shit was not really, offering particularly hiding spots.
I'm guessing that was part of Gandalf's very elaborate plan.
Yeah,
essentially.
maybe if the entire Fellowship arrived at the point, they would have found a way to distract the people around. I don't know. It just feels weird.
Gandalf was starting. Well, Theo, Gandalf is old. I mean, there's bound to be some senile.
There's a better in-universe explanation. He smoked too much weed pipe.
That too.
I mean, okay. I guess going off of Shadow of War, maybe Shelob knew about Gandalf's plan and she was in on.
Remember the way
But you see, again, according to the way that Shadow of War is added to the canon, Shelob, in her last minds, was willing to sacrifice herself by spooking Frodo in the right way, which is why she webbed him up and stung him. That really frightened him in the right direction.
No, Gollum, don't go towards the light.
The very badly rendered light. Yeah, okay, look. The light coming from Greshnig's lantern, that's fine, but the light towards the cavern, that looks pixelated.
Alright. So, probably not through there, because, this seems like there's a bit too much light. So let's go back. Hopefully we'll be through here.
So, it's a maze level.
Ah, there you go. See, the game just confirmed by having Smeagol say this way.
At the very least, the game tells you.
But you're supposed to follow the white hand marks.
The one hand. Which is not really sure. Like, sure, as a way to communicate you would go somewhere, sure, I get that.
Why didn't you leave days ago?
Because fuck him.
Other friends? No,
We never lose our friends.
But you don't have any friends.
Shut up, dude. We're trying to make up an excuse.
You know, actually, this does raise the question, though. Like, okay, playing this route as Smeagol, you are a lot more friendly. So I guess one raises the question, why is it that he was legit genuine with Frodo, but he's not genuine with these guys, even though Smeagol is the one who's been calling more of the shots?
Okay, again, you have to remember that keeping in mind that the original ways Smeagol and Gollum were characterized was not, in a DID format. You have to remember the one important thing, Jova. The movie may make you believe at the very least that Smeagol is still, the good personality when he talks to Frodo, and everything. But you have to remember, the Gollum persona was not born when Smeagol put on the ring. Smeagol had bad thoughts already when he was still in full control of himself. That's the reason why he stole the ring and killed his brother, because of that. So my point is, Smeagol is the better of the two, but he's just as prone to do bad things and lie about it, just in a more nice question mark kind of way.
Hey, you can be a villain, but you don't have to be a dick about it.
Basically, let me put it this way: Gollum is more brutally honest about who he is.
Which, in some ways, one might wonder, does that make Gollum actually the good guy of the two?
No,
since he's...
because, like I said, Smeagol is still technically the better of the two, because he's still more prone to good. It's just that, he's a more of a frail personality more than anything. To compare it maybe to Xenogears, it more represents the coward persona that Faye had, while Gollum instead represents Id. That's, I guess, the better comparison. The idea of something that's technically stronger, but not necessarily that makes another, automatically good, just technically better by default.
So it's supposed how pretty much every work portrays them as, like, two completely different people sharing the same body these days. Back then, do you mean, like, it was more that they
basically
were...
described it more as a case of remembering who you are, rather than... Sure, there's a level of applicability, and that's why the adaptations decided to do that. But I can tell you, remember, Tolkien wrote that in 1910. The idea of... I don't remember when The Curious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was written, because that was one of the first major cases of the AD being portrayed, in a fictional context. But I can tell you that even if Tolkien had this idea in mind, he surely did not wrote it to be as blatant.
Yeah, it wasn't as much of a focus. Let me see.
Again, it's applicable, yes. So I don't have a problem with what, what Jackson and the others did.
Yeah, it says here. Well, actually, too, I'm seeing here, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was released in 1886, so before Tolkien.
Roughly 50 years before Tolkien started writing.
So
again, yes, it could have still be possible, but keep in mind. Even if it is, the book describes it relatively different than what you might feel in the movie. Like I said, it's just a matter of an easy thing to change to have it still works.
In fact, the author of The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Robert Louis Stevenson, also wrote Treasure Island.
Yeah.
Treasure Island, yeah.
Coincidentally, these are both stories that show up in the Page Master.
I guess because it was easier in terms of public domain.
Yeah, Robert Louis Stevenson is regarded as one of the
why the
all-time great writers.
I kind of wonder why the third storyline in that movie wasn't also based off a story of
From
his.
what I remember, Jova, Page Master had a bit of a trouble development cycle on his own, and apparently a couple of stuff was cut out. I distinctly remember seeing a trailer of the movie that included a section with the Frankenstein monster, but it's not in the movie.
Yeah. See the thing.
And apparently a couple of other stuff was that included stuff in the
Yeah.
fantasy section.
Me and Theo and Dej actually rewatched that movie recently. Again, the same issues that I've complained about before still apply. Like, again, the intentions are good. Thing is, the movie doesn't do a good job. Like, let's use Treasure Island for example. They show pirates, Long John Silver, but Jim Hawkins is nowhere to be seen. So the hook, the main thing that makes Treasure Island such a special pirate story in particular is the fact that there's a very complex relationship between Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver. But the movie doesn't display that. Jim Hawkins doesn't even show up in that fucking movie. So the audience, so kids watching don't have any particular. Okay, there's no reason. Oh, aside from saying that it's a pirate story, they don't tell you what makes Treasure Island special to incentivize the kids to go read it.
It takes the worst word represented in the Kingdom Hearts franchise approach. The idea of just, adapting the bare minimum with only a handful of characters and having the absence of others being a major hindrance to it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the idea was that the main protagonist, played by Culkin, is supposed to be the role.
Kind of like how stories sometimes, but it just doesn't work.
The problem is that Culkin's character is bland as shit. And
if I recall correctly, Page Master was like smack dab in the middle of that weird era where Warner Brothers or other studios were trying to be Disney since Disney was cool again thanks to the Renaissance era.
To the Page Master's credit,
as a project in itself, it was one of the many projects that Ted Turner had in terms of having his weird obsession in wanting to teach things to children. In this case, Ted Turner wanting you to read books. So.
Yeah, no, the thing. No, to the Page Master's credit, it didn't rip off the Disney formula. It felt like its own thing. The problem is that again, it's the fact that it's so underdeveloped. Like, not to mention the main character's character arc, if you can call it that, doesn't really work when you actually think about it. Because it's all about him reading books. But hold on, guys. There was no internet back then, so in order for him to have all this mathematical knowledge and statistical knowledge, he had to read books. So he's already.
I told you when we watched the movie with Pedro. It's more of a case of the things that he read was just about studying, and what he needed was narrative.
I guess. In that case, the movie should have been better at conveying the specific message it was going for.
I honestly always took it as just like, well, he was supposed to learn to stand up for himself better and not be scared of statistics and all that jazz, be a more outgoing kid. Which, of course, means that the best way to teach him that was by putting him in adventures where he nearly died each time.
Okay,
to be fair, a lot of movies do that kind of thing.
Going back to a second of this game, what I appreciate that the game is doing essentially a retelling in the meantime about the events that happened when Deagle discovered the ring and Smeagol murdered him. I don't understand why they're spruced in between in this section. I don't see the significance. Like Gandalf, again, framing device. Gandalf is questioning Gollum and learning about the story on how he became who he is and how he found the ring. Fair beings, that's literally what happens in the book. Okay, I don't understand why it needs to be narration that's told in between in this section.
So much climbing. Okay, moving on.
Hey, Gandalf.
The darkness and silence of the night.
Okay,
actually,
guys, I will not hear you take that song with this shit I'm seeing on screen right now.
Actually, Dweebs, but can you check us in the meantime? I don't know if you did it one of the early parts. I forgot. My bad. Who Gandalf is voiced by in this game? He's a good, good enough voice actor for the role. I think.
Yeah.
Probably another British actor.
I know that you guys. I don't know if Dweebs disagrees, but
Andres Williams.
Okay, I heard him.
He's been in Diablo 4.
Okay.
He was Uranus in Live Alive, the 2022
okay. Yeah.
one. He played some soldiers in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torn of the Golden Country.
Think you can take me?
He was Black Knight in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, aka the one that was recorded during the voice acting strike, so
there
he was
she
in Britain.
is.
And he was a few characters in the 2015 Thunderbirds Are Go TV show.
She's just standing there?
She's just standing there, Jova. Menacingly.
Menacingly!
So, abandon Grashnag or escape with Grashnag?
Escape with Grashnag.
But we have to convince Gollum to do that.
Or what if she lets both of us go?
Too risky. Too
Okay.
risky.
Grashnik
I have to
wants
ask
go home.
in that regard. So Gollum, Smeagol,
Left us behind.
these guys are... okay, assuming we convince Gollum, that means he is disloyal to Grashnag. So, I would hope
Again,
this means...
Smeagol wants to do good, but he's also a very fragile type of personality, and as such, he's prone to, even when he comes up with potentially a good idea, he might not get the upper hand compared to what Gollum wants to do.
He
I
was.
wonder if what this
That's why
game
I
is
did
going
this.
for is like, well, when
Uh-oh.
Gollum...
He had no other choice. Precious would have done the same.
Yes, perhaps we would have.
Please, don't wake up, Precious.
There you go. Managed to still win the argument.
But yeah, that's fine. I know that Dwids disagrees, but I personally don't mind the guy who's playing Gollum slash
Wait,
Smeagol.
hold on.
I think he's fine. I
Wait,
mean, he's
wait,
no, he's no
wait,
Wendy
hold on.
Circus, but I think he's fine.
Hold on, I thought we agreed not to wake her up, but now she's up?
More of a case of where, again, if Gollum won the argument, he would have, alerted her, so she would have gone towards Grashnag.
The developers really wanted run away from Shelob sequence.
Yes, I played Crash Bandicoot.
Also, if you forgot Pedro, I don't remember exactly the name of the voice actor, but the guy who voices Gollum is the one voice actor of Riki from the first Xenoblade.
Yeah. Like I said, I know that this disagrees, but I personally think that the guy who playing Gollum in this game is fine. I mean, yeah, again, he's no Andy Serkis, obviously, but I think he gets the job done, honestly.
Again, the voice acting is probably the least of this game's problems, if you ask me.
Probably. So question.
Yes, sir?
I love how she just clipped through her own web, but I digress. Do you get this if you choose the wake up Shelob decision?
I haven't checked, but I'm assuming so, probably.
If that's the case, then I assume
To be honest,
the difference would be
I don't care enough to go back and check if the Gollum route is particularly super different.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I'm guessing if you choose to wake her, then she kills Grashnag. Again, I would hope so, but this just reminded me of the Orc decision, where the choice there felt pointless.
Okay, so basically the rest of this level is basically you running away from Shelob, because yeah, we're not done yet. Shelob will basically continue to chase you throughout the rest of this level.
Basically, whenever the perspective changes to behind you, run like hell.
Basically. Although there's other ways. There you go.
And I'm
Backwards jump, I guess. There you go. Oh, that's... There you go.
All the music when he's going for a Raymond 2 approach for some reason.
One thing a lot of
I mean, it's really
bits like to do is like when you're dealing with spiders in media, they'll do like the high string stuff.
Yeah, the pizzicato stuff also.
Yeah. Again, I've already ranted about the music.
While you're at
I'll elaborate more on the final thoughts. But yes,
while we're
yes.
at it with voice acting, please might as well. Who voices Grashnag? I'm curious.
Hang on.
Does Shelob have a voice actor too?
No, she doesn't speak aside from spider noises.
Well, in that case, might be D. Bradley Baker. or
Again,
Professor-
Dan Mersch. In terms of behind the voice actors, the only other role I've seen, the only other role on here on that website is he played Tom Builder in a game called
What just
10
happened?
Bullets for Pillars of the Earth.
It's
was
an
that?
adaptation from a book, Donnie and style that resemble Telltale Games lives.
What is
Basically,
wrong
Pedro.
with?
I think Pedro fell a bit too much.
I guess.
Um,
He was one of the thieves he was an art thief in the Justice.
Why can't you grab the fucking vines, you fucking idiot?
I think you were supposed to jump down from another ledge.
I guess, but there were vines there. He should have been able to grab those. So basically, let me get this straight. See, there's vines there. See, so basically, Teo, the game expects you to grab these vines first. So if you try to, grab these ones first, the game will just not allow you to because it's scripted. The game is scripted. The game is overly scripted, and you have to play the game the exact specific way the developers intended because the game will not allow you to do anything else.
Anyway, Java, again, you're a bit overestimating the idea of using voice actors for animal noises because all the times it's more preferable to just use stock sound effects.
Oh, true. But there are quite a few cases where voice actors are surprisingly good at making animal noises. I don't
question the quality, more like, sparing the cost.
I guess it's one of those things, too, is because one thing that we also have to remember is that if you do nothing but just reuse the same animal voice clips over and over, it starts to become noticeable that you're repeating the same clips over and over. So I would argue it's actually preferable to get someone like D. Bradley Baker or Frank Welker to, like he did the lion sounds in
I'm
Lion King.
not questioning the quality, just
No, I'm not saying you question the quality. I'm saying that I think it's preferable to have voice actors.
Obviously, I'm just saying that it probably not what happened in this game.
Sure.
I guess I will look into that later, but yes. Well, I guess the one good news is we're out of the prison level, even though it doesn't feel like we're out of the prison since stuff feels the same, but the narrative has moved.
Hooray.
In some direction.
Yeah, it has progressed in some form.
Alright.
Should I really applaud it? Anyway, see ya.
No, but it has done something. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.